Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza. Plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book. Over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, in the book behind me, in 5 hours, it'll be packed with Charger and Broncos fans for Thursday Night Football. And we are just 1 week until the jolly fat guy shows up and makes us all happy. Hello and welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us for Lunch with Punch. The show is a fun mix of sports, comedy, conversation, viral videos, and some smart betting advice. I'm your host, Frank Nicotero, longtime comedian, lifelong sports fan. And today's show, I found out that new Falcons starting quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., is like me. I mean, I'm not an NFL quarterback, but he also likes Costco.
I was actually shopping. I was shopping with my girlfriend who was at Costco. I was actually getting a hot dog, and whenever I got the call, I wasn't hungry no more. So,
I mean, he doesn't have Kirk Cousins money yet, so he likes to shop at Costco. So he's now my favorite new NFL player. On the show at 12:35, ladies and gentlemen, we have red hot handicapper. He is on a 22-6-1 tear on football. Vegas legend and always amazing on this show. His regular Thursday slot. Joe D'Amico will be here via the video. But sitting live in the studio, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking about it all week. Since last week, I brought this up for, I believe, his 3rd or 4th appearance on the show. You can check out his dry bar special. It has millions and millions of hits. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Bob Zany is here.
Thank you.
Bob Zany.
Thank you very much. How am I dressed? Do I look good? By the way, I almost didn't make it into the show. I was at Costco trying to buy a hot dog, and this guy couldn't make a decision. Could not make a decision.
Is that where you picked up the shirt?
That's where. Wow, nice. By the way, Savers called. That wasn't really a off the rack thing.
No, this.
You look great. How do I don't know if it brings out my eyes or not.
Yeah, well, you have very steely blue, grayish eyes.
No, they're blue. Okay.
They're blue. Well, okay. Well, the shirt.
My personality's grayish. Where the fat, jolly guy shows up in a week. Well, I thought you were doing an intro for me. You're a mean man.
I left it
everything about you is mean.
If you watch the replay, I kind of did a little pause there, a little beat.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't even want to look at you during the pause or the beat.
Now, Bob, this is exciting. I think this is the first time ever we're kind of simulcasting the show on your YouTube channel. This is on our YouTube channel.
Yes, and may I mention it's the official Bob Zany channel. Subscribe. It's free to do so, and then we send you notifications. My YouTube channel guy, you know him very well, Keith.
Yes, right.
He's always putting up new clips, and I'm always finding new jokes that I forgot I used to do.
Exactly. Now,
it's weird. Have you ever looked back on some of your stuff and go, wow, that's funny. Why aren't I doing that anymore?
I did. I've also looked back at stuff, and I'm horrified that I did do that at one point.
Well, I've actually looked back at all your stuff, and I'm horrified at what you did.
Well, I actually stumbled upon, this was about a year ago, or when you first started coming on the show, one day I was going through my phone, and I found a clip from a show that you and I had done with Aaron, at the for Tom McLean, the
Improv in Oxnard.
Oxnard, I was going to say Ontario.
Oxnard, baby.
Oxnard, baby.
Used to be the home. I had a Bob Zany's Comedy Outlet at the Radisson, which was the training camp for the Raiders. Did you know that?
No, I knew. I didn't know they trained there.
Yeah, and that was built on a dump site. How's that for your metaphor?
Well, they've moved to Vegas.
It was built on a dump site. I didn't book you then, Keith, because you were still in 8th grade.
So, but I remember we did a show together, and there was a guy in the audience giving out lottery tickets.
That's right, Scratchers.
Scratchers, this guy, and he was known as the Cat Man, and there was a phone number and a card he handed out, and I called it, and the woman answered. I'm like, how do I book Cat Man? Anyway, I have this clip of, and I found that, and then later on, you were on the show. And
That's right, and we actually got a lot of Scratchers on that day, and I think I made more money on the Scratchers than the actual gig.
I think I had one for like 20 or 25 bucks.
You know, I love the Scratchers concept. I just think they should be more real, like name it eczema. And then that would be a great scratcher, don't you think? It's win-win.
That's a good idea. And when I moved to Vegas here, one day I was at the gas station and I was filling up, and I went, oh, maybe I'll pick up a few crossword scratchers. So I go, where are your scratchers? And they go, what? I go, with lottery too? They go, we don't have lottery here. And I'm like, it's Vegas. They want you gambling.
They want you gambling, but I think with the sports betting now on the phone, it doesn't really matter if you go anywhere. I mean, you sit around your house in your boxers just because you have them.
Boxer briefs.
Boxers or briefs. I have a really horrible joke when I've been asked that, but I can't do it. Well, I can't do it.
And can he do it? Okay, boxer.
No,
do you boxer or briefs?
Neither. Big sweaty balls, baby. How about that? Can I do that? We got Vince over there, and you said I should meet him.
Vince is he's our newest addition to the show, and he's a very valuable member. And his father is Vinny Magliulo, who was one of the guys who runs the sportsbook here.
That's so cool. And Vince, we're very proud of you. You picked some of the music too, right?
Yeah, he plays our pre-show music.
And I think it's so great that his dad got him the job. There's nothing wrong with nepotism. I mean, look at Jesus. His dad got him the job. It's a good Christmas joke. There was nothing sacrilegious about that. It's all factual.
It's very timely. Now, Bob, here was one thing I was very excited about was I thought you were coming in today on Thursday because you were maybe doing the Dennis Bono show, but you came in just to do our program.
That's all. And that shows how sad my life has become. That I actually, because this is prime nap time for me.
Well, let's say
I get up at 5 every morning. I get all my work done, and then I take a nice nap, and then I got more work to do. That's how I do it. And enough about me.
Well, what time do you go to bed?
I try to go to bed early. I try to go to bed around 10 or 11, but, That's the thing about, here's the thing about going to bed, okay?
Tell me.
We go to bed, but do we really fall asleep just like that? No, it takes time, so that really doesn't count.
Have you done an edible before to help you sleep?
No, I don't. I'm not like you, Frank. I mean,
I didn't. No, don't implicate me. I heard that people do that.
Yeah, it's called an Oreo. That's what I eat, Oreo cookie. By the way, I saw the woman in the casino. I had to write this down. She had a T-shirt that said, "I eat corn the long way." Boy, that gives a whole new meaning to knee high by 4th of July. By the way, you just won a lot of farmers over with that joke.
Well, we're big in the farming crowd and probably live on your YouTube page.
Yeah.
I want to tell you what's on the show. We have a new graphic. Here's today's punch menu, and then we'll do here we go. Look at this. Now listen at the end. There's a voice.
May I take your order?
May I take your order? See that?
Vince, was that your idea? Vinny? No, it wasn't? Yeah. It was the guy that was invaluable before you sat there. So trust me, when they say they don't know what they're going to do without you, that's when they find out. Okay, so I'm just giving you advice. I'm just the old guy who's been through a couple things. Okay. Not too much.
Today on our punch menu, we have our comedy clip of the day. We actually have 2 Josh Allen clips, picks at 12:36, Kenny White's dog of the day, and in the punch bowl, we have Kyler playing in the cold, Bean the Cat with his her Thursday night football pick, and a former NBA player trying to go incognito. But first, I want to talk about Kenny White. Now, Kenny White will, at the end of the show, he gives us a dog of the day.
Does he actually appear, or
no? He was already here working today doing a show.
Oh, so it's like on tape.
Today's Thursday. He wasn't here today. He'll be here tomorrow morning doing the show by himself. No, he's remote.
And I met Kenny.
You met Kenny? Yeah, you met Kenny. Now, here's what we even have a clip of this.
Oh.
So Kenny White, who's Alex White, who co-hosts the show with me twice a week. It's her father, who now co-hosts Sports by the Book with her Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 9 o'clock.
You should just become a PR guy.
I should.
Because you're really not doing anything that's helping you. I mean, it's all about others with you, Frank, and that's why you go to a gas station in Vegas and look for scratchers.
It was my first week in town.
I know.
All right, so Kenny came and saw you at the show you did at
Delirious.
At Delirious
with Erin O'Connor, my lovely, funny wife.
Lovely, funny
and
wife.
Keith Lyle was there.
And how were
yeah,
you?
I avoided him like the plague.
All right, so here we go. Here's Kenny White in the crowd of Bob Zany's show at Delirious.
Name, sir?
Kenny,
Kenny, how old are you, Kenny?
61.
Yeah, probably time to go by Ken. Won't be getting a pony for your birthday, Kenny. No, I'm teasing, Kenny. You go by Kenny. What do you do for a living, Kenny?
Sports better.
You're a sports bettor professionally?
Yeah.
Good. And who are you going to pick on Army Navy tomorrow?
I like the underdog, Navy.
Navy is the underdog?
Yeah.
I actually, yeah.
Let's hear it for Navy.
Navy, yeah. Okay, good. Well, he's a professional sports book guy.
All right, there's Bob doing what he does better than anybody working the crowd, and it was Kenny White. Now, Kenny, you said it's maybe time to maybe start going by Ken.
I think it is.
Okay, well.
I can't, I'm not even joking anymore. By the way, I do want to say this about that moment.
Yes.
So Aaron and I are scheduled at Delirious, and we get a call. There was a power outage.
There was a power outage.
Right. So we're almost there, and Lance, the showroom manager, says, "Yeah, it's going to take 6 to 8 hours. You might as well just turn around." So we go home. I change, and we're going to go out to not the South Point. I love the South Point.
That's right.
Big history here.
Yes, you do.
With the Jerry Lewis
I know.
Telethon and Dennis and all that. Big history. But that's not the point. We're going to go to Sunset Station near our house, and we were about to leave the parking lot. Guess what? The show's back on. So I have to go home and rechange and get ready, and we drive out to do the second show.
Now, what was the difference between the outfit you had on for the show?
I had a suit on. I had the suit on.
And then what were you going to wear to Sunset Station?
Well, I was actually naked, and I think that way I get better service. Right, Keith?
Absolutely.
And you don't need a straw for your drink. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Kenny made a video for you, Bob. Take a look.
Oh, my
It's a
God.
little
This is
retort.
exciting.
Here we go.
Ken. Kenny!
I only go by Kenny. I'm sorry. And you know what? Bobby, Zany, really? Is that your really last name, Bob? Come on. I'm going to start calling you Bobby, but I need the address. Frank, send me Bob's address so that I can send him a pony.
Got you
Because
a
he's
pony.
getting a pony from me this year for Christmas. Great show, Bobby. It was amazing at your comedy show. Really, you guys have a Merry Christmas.
There you go.
That's so nice. If I didn't like Alex, I'd really enjoy that. But that's the father. That's the dad.
Kenny, yeah.
And they don't have that father-daughter conflict. And do they have that? Because you know all about that. You're a girl, right? Father-daughter conflicts are big, right?
Yeah, no,
They seem happy together.
They do a show together 3 times a week.
That's too much. I think once a week, and then that way you don't push it. But it's no, and Alex, of course, over at the Aviators, when I threw out the first pitch, I was the 4th guy throwing out the first pitch. I can't wait to put that in the book.
No,
I really can't. The 4th guy throwing out the first pitch. We're going to do it again, and I want to be the first guy. And then my hip's better now. I can actually do a wind-up.
Okay, because the first pitch was a little outside.
It was bad because I was afraid. I just spent 20 grand on a hip, okay?
I'm sorry.
I'm going to throw out a pitch for free or protect the 20 grand hip. Think about it.
I came to that game a little later because I was doing a show at some
You had some big show going on. You were in Summerlin, I think, for Kathleen Dunbar.
Yeah, I was. Are you going to her party on Saturday?
I just like being invited.
Okay. You don't want to. Well, plus you don't want to have to change twice. And
no, their power works there.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it's time for top of show breaking video. Here we go. We even have a graphic for this now. So yesterday I gave out UNLV as my pick, and it hit. UNLV, we're very excited. Keith's a graduate, as well as Ann and Alex White all went to UNLV.
It's very exciting. They got that new coach, and they won. It just shows when you change the person at the top, sometimes things get better. I wonder what that's a metaphor for.
Whoa.
Not you, Frank.
Oh, okay.
No. I was talking big picture, but nothing. Right, Keith? You know what I'm talking about. Oh,
also,
yeah. That
our
bothered
very
him.
own Matt Neverett was on the radio call for his final football game. Matt will be here tomorrow in studio co-hosting the show, and we can talk about UNLV basketball, the running Rebs, and the rest of the season. But anyway, they won the game, and they were very overwhelmed. The game was played at SoFi in L.A. Have you ever been to SoFi?
No, I haven't. That was before my time. Well, I've been to the Coliseum. I've been to USC. I've been to UCLA. I've been to all the places. But I never went to SoFi.
I've been to all those,
I was at the Forum. I actually did security at the Forum
No,
for
you did
rock
not.
concerts.
Come
Yes.
on.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. I met Fire.
Where were Earth and Wind?
Or they're very standoffish.
Now, when I was a kid, it was called the Great Western Forum, and growing up in Pittsburgh and then moving to LA as a kid for a while, I thought it was great. The Great Western Forum. I had no idea that was a bank.
Oh, well.
Great Western.
Well, but actually shows that that's the perfect person to promote that.
Yeah,
What is the sponsor? Is it a sponsor?
Yeah.
But you get to see the forum when you fly back to L.A. all the time.
Yeah.
You see it, and it used to be where Hollywood Park was.
I was going to say, you'd see horses running sometimes.
My parents took my sister and I would take us out of school when we were kids to go to Hollywood Park and Santa Anita. That's the family I had. I'm not making that up. And none of you care. Vince, you're doing great.
Santa Anita must have been when times were good, because that's a little more pricey. It's out there in the nice
It was
part.
nice, but again, you're a kid. What do you know?
Yeah, that's true. What do I know now?
You know a lot, Frank. I wanted to call you about some advice. I got something down here.
We'll take care of that after the show, ladies and gentlemen.
If you could just look at it.
So anyway, UNLV got to see SoFi for the first time and meet that guy from those annoying USAA commercials. Take a look. Here we go. So look, they're overwhelmed at the size of SoFi. Yeah, they've been, and then they got to meet Gronk. Yeah, big deal.
Guys, how you doing? Excited for tomorrow? You know you can't come here without getting iced out, baby. So, Coach, you know I got you.
He had to ice out the coach. And then they all got to take a picture with Gronk.
Aw.
Right.
Don't worry, look, I still got this.
So everybody wanted to take pictures with Gronk. Is there an athlete you'd like to take a picture with?
Well, no. Not really. No. I've probably taken pictures of a lot of athletes over the years.
Name some. Can you think
Jack
of any?
Youngblood from the LA Rams.
Jack
I wrote
Young.
jokes for Jack. Back in the 80s when I was on KOS Radio. Yeah, I've done a lot of stuff. About 5-6 years ago, I did some stuff for the Jumbotron at the LA Rams.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that last time.
Yeah, I've done a lot of things, Frank. I was on my high school football team. That's enough. I want to meet Tom Bernansky one more time. Tom, if you're watching the show, Tom and I were on the same football team together.
I think you mentioned that too, and I remember him from the Minnesota Twins and St. Louis Cardinals.
He's got a ring.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right, it's time for our comedy clip of the day, and I mean, who better to have it while we're doing?
Comedy clip?
Well, it's something that I found funny, or Keith and I found funny, and we wanted to play on the show. And
I would love to see your guys' sessions looking at stuff.
Well, we do.
That could be the comedy clip. Vince, make a note, okay? New stuff. Be an asset, okay?
All right, so we talk about Josh Allen a lot on this show, how he seems to be the MVP. But don't listen to me. Listen to players who've played with Josh Allen. They'll tell you he's a good guy and should win the MVP.
When I was in Green Bay, he was always giving me words of encouragement. He just loves giving people compliments.
You're so tough. You're so tough. You're so tough.
He just really does a great job of making sure the other team doesn't have a uniform violation. He makes sure the other players don't fall over.
Comes out, oh yeah, it's Wilkins. Really good job.
He just wants what's best for everyone on the field.
Okay, no, got you.
So the campaign for the MVP is on. He's probably going to win the MVP.
You think?
I think so.
Who's he up against?
Well, I mean, it's an open competition. Anybody. I'd say like Lamar Jackson, who's on the Ravens, who I don't like. Maybe Saquon Barkley on the Eagles, but he's the front runner.
I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson then.
Please
because
don't.
you don't like him.
No,
and I
he's
think
not.
the Ravens in Baltimore, my God, it's beautiful.
No, it's not.
Edgar Allan Poe, baby.
That's why they call him the Ravens.
I know that. I do know some things, okay?
Now, listen, Josh Allen, he has a lot of highlights. The guy scored, what did we say? He scored like 13 touchdowns in the past few weeks. What's that? Oh.
We don't have that clip.
Oh, we don't have
Here,
that
let
clip.
me do a clip for you.
Okay. There we go. There it is. There's Josh Allen throwing.
Look,
all right, don't worry.
He caught it.
There we go. All right, it's time for roll call, Bob. This is going to be fun. All right, roll call. Here we go. This is where we check in with all the people comment. Look at the comments going. Oh, I got to hit. Do I hit top chat or live chat? Live chat. Oh, my God. Listen to how they drone on like they've told me a million times. All right, so we have Minidar. Minidar's watching. He's one of our regulars. Minidar says, and the kickoff question was, do you have a question about comedy for the great Bob Zany or any Hollywood questions? Before he married, did any Hollywood starlets make their move on him?
Well, I don't want to bring up Linda Blair because I think No, she didn't. But we actually did star in a movie together. So
that's right.
Up your alley with Murray Langston.
Oh my God, the unknown comic.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know who Linda Blair lost her virginity to?
Oh my God, I should be at the top of my head.
Rick Springfield.
Really?
He talked about it in his book.
Oh, that's a great story. This is probably why she just rescues pets now. She walked away from sugar. Oh.
Now, EOC's there. We got Aaron O'Connor. Would he mind picking up some gluten-free lasagna noodles on the way home?
Yes, I'd be more happy to do that, honey, because gluten-free is so important to you.
Is this serious?
Taste is more important to me.
Do you think that's serious?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is. I can't escape. She even sent me her picks for the bowl, so we got that.
I can't wait.
Okay.
All right, JR from the ballpark, Johnny from the ballpark. Does Bobby, spelled with one B, have a personal George Carlin story?
Yes, I do. Isn't it interesting?
Oh,
well, I was Brad Upton, the great comedian Brad Upton, big star on Dry Bar. I'm in the top 10 myself.
I hear.
But he's probably like number one.
Okay.
Anyway, we were performing at the Maxim, which is no longer here. Maxim Casino across the street from Bally's, which is no longer really there.
It's the Horseshoe now, right?
Yeah. So George is performing. He sets it up. We go over and say hi to George. We saw half his show and then went backstage. And I said, George, I'm Bob Zany. He says, yes, you are. And he started doing my act.
Come on.
Yes. So it was the coolest thing ever. I felt bad for Brad because he was like the fan,
Yeah.
I mean, I was a fan. I remember my brother bringing home the album in 72.
Yeah.
The 7
Class
things
Clown?
you couldn't say.
7 words you can't say on television?
Yeah.
We're on the internet. We might be able to say them. No,
it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to prick my finger.
But don't. Yeah. We all know that joke. George Carlin, when I was about 14 years old, me and my buddy Bob Dell, who watches the show a lot, we went and saw him at the Stanley Theater in Pittsburgh. We had front row tickets. And as he walked out, someone threw a hamburger on stage, which was very odd. But the opening act was Leon Redbone.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And do you know the story of Leon Redbone for my family,
No.
Aaron and I? Our dog, Zuby, she gets a treat. You put meat inside of this bone, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
It's a red bone.
Sure.
So we call it the Leon.
The Leon Redbone. Get the Leon.
Well, you don't even have to say red bone. It's obvious.
Let's see. Aaron O'Connor says, she's referring to Minnie Dar's question about the starlet. It wasn't a starlet, but it was a star. So maybe Aaron knows the Linda Blair stuff.
Oh, was it? I don't know.
I don't know. All right, Keith Lyle. Aaron, I would be dying laughing if he had his bell in his pocket.
Oh, that's a great story. But she has to do her joke, and then I do a call back.
Damn it.
So that's not going to happen.
All right, checking in with Dean Hill. Dean Hill's always here. Thank you, Dean. Does Bob have a good story about Fraser Smith back when he was on KLOS?
Well, Fraser's still a friend. You know,
he was on this program.
Oh, that's great. He's really a sports guy. I mean, yeah,
big hockey guy.
Yeah, well, because he's from Michigan, and they're usually Canadian anyway. It doesn't matter. But Fraser Smith and I, he actually discovered me, I would say.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was at the Ice House in Pasadena, and I was doing a show, and it went very, very well.
Yeah.
And then I went out and sat at the bench. You remember the bench?
I know exactly.
By the
They had the
payphone?
contracts of like Letterman and Shandling. I know right where
And
you're
I was
talking
writing jokes, and he was just impressed by that. And he said, would you like to call into my show? He said, you blew the room open with your laughter, whatever.
Yeah.
So he said, would you call into my show? And I said, well, sure. You can be my dumb brother. And the rest is history.
Well, when I first met Fraser, when I first moved to LA, I didn't realize how big of a deal he had previously been. And he was still, he played every club. Nicest guy in the world. And I was there at the Laugh Factory the night before on the same show with Michael Richards that Fraser was emceeing.
Yeah.
And Michael Richards, Kramer, and I went up to him and I went, hey, man, I'm a big fan. And he sloughed me off. He was like kind of a jerk to me.
Yeah.
And then the next night is when the whole thing happened. But
do you think he did that because of meeting you?
Probably.
He felt, maybe I should do something for race relations because I met Frank Nicotero.
Joey B., Hollywood question. How wild was the Viper Room, Whiskey A Go-Go, and the nightclub scenes in the 80s and 90s? I need hairband stories.
Well, it's interesting. I think on my Instagram, there's a photo of Fraser and I with Motley Crue.
Are you serious?
At the Roxy in like 1982, 83.
Right.
And Vince Neil is there, right? And Vince is big friends with Carrot Top.
Okay.
So, so he was I went by to see the show and he was in the green room and I said, hey, Vince, I got this photo, when we met back when I was on KLOS. And he said, yeah, I was really coked up then. And that was the only thing he said to me.
That was it.
That was enough.
Did he sign the photo?
No, it was on my Instagram. It's Zany Bob. You can, I think, find the photo.
Aaron O'Connor, Levity Live.
Levity Live, okay. Which is part of the improv.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what
they own the improv.
It wasn't the improv. That's right. Mini Dar, will Jimmy Vaccaro invite Bob Zany to the back room after the show? Now, this is in reference, which you'll see on our Best Of show next week. Jimmy Vaccaro, one day when your lovely wife was here, came in, and I'm like, oh, we got big action in the book. You know, Jimmy's coming in to show us a ticket. And he comes in. I go, Jimmy, what do you need? He goes, we're all sitting in the back. Who are you, darling?
Right.
We said, come in the back afterwards.
And again, I know how much it hurts you when others see talent. And they don't. They just use you, Frank. You're just a host, and you're supposed to create the talent.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
You are. Aaron's very funny. Blah blah blah.
One more for Joey B. Hollywood question: Bob and/or Frank and/or Keith Lau or Aaron O'Connor. Any Sam Kinison stories? Here he threw a heck of a party back in the day.
I didn't hang with Sam, but I worked with him several times.
Wow.
When him and Carl LeBeau, who was one of the outlaws of comedy,
the Texas guys,
right before they made it big, they needed work, and I was booking rooms. So Sam calls up. I said, I'll tell you what, Sam, go to Club Soda in Ventura. I had a Bob Zany comedy outlet there. And Carl and him both went. I said, Carl, you pick up $25 for me.
Oh my God.
And Sam, you pick up $50 for me. And they got paid like a couple $100.
Right.
And Carl finally paid me the $25 at the Studio City Golf Course. You ever go there?
Yeah, sure. The
on
little par 3.
Beautiful place.
I loved it.
Anyway, but Sam never paid me the money, and I don't think I'm going to see it. But you know what he would do? And I look, Sam was a genius, okay?
Yeah, he was one of the
very
best.
funny guy, but just a miserable human being to me. I don't know why. It was probably the youth of it all.
Sure.
But he would, I'd be at the Comedy Store, and strangers would walk up to him and hand him a $100 bill. He owed me $50. He did that to put the knife there.
Right.
And he was supposed to introduce me on the Rodney Dangerfield HBO special.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the week that something went down.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Then we got Fred Willard.
Oh, wow.
It was a decent man.
Yeah,
I
very
miss
nice.
Fred. What a funny man.
Hollywood Game Night, he was a guest on when I was doing warm-up, and I went over and talked to him about Fernwood Tonight, which I loved with him and Martin Mull. And he couldn't have been a nicer guy.
He was the greatest guy in the whole world.
Yeah.
I was doing the warm-up for the Emmys once, and I was dying up there because everybody was walking in, and they're all looking, look at me, look at me, look at how I'm dressed, you know. And all of a sudden, Fred starts walking up the stairs going, Bob, can you tell me where my seat is? And hands me his ticket. And he saved me.
Yeah.
So that's the type of guy Fred Willard was.
Do you miss doing the warm-up?
No.
I don't.
You know, every time you do warm-up, you go, maybe I get back on the road. Because the only reason you do warm-up...
The money's
right,
good. Yeah.
right. But the only reason you do warm-up is so you don't have to be out on the road. And
Correct.
you go, I missed the road a little bit.
Yep. I was
Enough about Roseanne and her Saturday Night Special variety show. I did warm-up for that. She fired me from that.
Why did she fire you?
Because it was horrible. They didn't know what they were doing, and
I don't even remember that.
It lasted 6 weeks.
Well, there you go.
I did warm up for her sitcom, and I was also on her sitcom. But I did warm up. Best job in the whole world. 2 hours and you're done. She wanted out of there.
I was going to say usually they're 5 or 6 hours, but
she goes, Bob, tell him your real name. And I said, can I do that here, Roseanne? She goes, it's my show, Bob.
And what is your real name?
Big Dick McGee.
Right. People thought you'd Bob Zany, but no.
No, it is Big Dick McGee.
Big Dick McGee. All right. Commenters, please. Thank you. So Aaron O'Connor says, thank you, Kenny. Mini Dar, great family. I would love to skip school for Hollywood Park in Santa Anita. And there you go. Aaron O'Connor, boom. Okay. So let's get on with some more of the show here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at That's Crazy. Our line of the night. So we have lines in the night.
Oh.
There you go. We even had a little graphic there. Look, you're bobbing your head. It's a good tune. I think Vince picked that.
Did you pick that, Vince?
Maybe.
You're really rethinking this whole job thing, aren't you? I apologize, man. I do that to people.
All right, so listen, Bob, for your That's Crazy, we have tossing coins. Now, if you take a look at the screen, Jay Kuda, who's one of our favorite follows on social media, he posted, this is the NFL coin toss results this year for every team. So is the home team call it? Is it the away team calls it? So anyway, Cleveland, who's a terrible team. I mean, it's a terrible town, let's be honest.
That's where you're from.
I'm from Pittsburgh.
Same thing.
Jesus. Cleveland, if you look at the coin toss, hey, they're 11-3. Steelers are 6-8, but that was kind of interesting right there. The Commanders. I almost called the Washington team their old name.
What, the Redskins?
Yeah, right.
It's still Twitter, okay? It's fine. It's fine. It's still the Johnny Carson show, okay? It's fine.
Now, I have a coin here, and I thought maybe we could see who would win. Heads or tails? You call it. Are you ready?
Yeah. Heads. That was great. Now we're doing a dime pitch at the carnival.
Did we win a prize? What was it? That was heads.
See, I won.
You won. Bob Zany
Isn't that
won.
nice? I think this feature is great, tossing coins, because when you were doing the tossing salad feature, not so much, not family friendly.
That's up for the YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, here's my line of the night. Why is it black? Is that my line of the night?
It's a really good line, Frank.
What am I looking at there?
I think, is that a drone?
Oh, that's the coin.
No, that's a drawing. Drone.
And she got a shot
drone.
of
That was a drone. They're everywhere.
What do you think of these drones everywhere?
I don't know. I texted Scott Carrot Top, and I said it would be funny if you had a drone flying over your head.
Oh my God!
And said, "Man, they're everywhere."
Oh, that would be funny.
It's worked.
Has he done that?
I don't know.
You know what? Maybe
he wrote back funny, and that was it.
That was it.
That's our relationship.
All right, here's my line of the night, ladies and gentlemen. It has to do. Oh, this is Randy. It's from Pony. This guy's a Pittsburgh guy. Rumor is that Penn State attendance for Saturday's playoff game could be around 70 to 75,000 fans. And you go, wow, that sounds like a lot. Well, the stadium there in Happy Valley, Beaver Stadium, holds like 100,000 people. So if true, kind of embarrassing for Penn State, who always mocks Pitt, my favorite college team, about attendance issues there at Heinz Field or whatever, Acrisure Stadium, whatever it's now called. But anyway, I just like sticking it to Penn State.
Well, you know, I think turnabout's fair play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why be careful of what you say.
Right.
And
they're hosting SMU this Saturday. Go Mustangs! SMU, Southern Methodist University.
Well, we were married by a Methodist preacher, Aaron and I. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was great. And right after the ceremony, he says, "I got to go have a cigarette and a drink." You can't write that, right, Keith? You know what I'm talking about.
Can't write that,
baby. Keith's on the laptop like he knows how to use it.
It's a new one. He's working out the kinks. Today's date, ladies and gentlemen, watch this. Watch how we sync this up with Barbara Walters. Today's date is December 19th.
This is 2024.
And so it's Barbara Walters 2024.
Wow.
Now
and this wasn't like in a meeting you came up with it.
Nope.
Okay.
I'll just riffing. All right, now here's what we do, Bob. I'm going to read.
Do you know that most of your people watching this don't even know who Barbara Walters is anymore?
We know. It's just one for Ann and Vince and I. We love doing this one. And Keith.
Vince, you're not that old. How old are you, Vince? Huh?
He met Barbara Walters.
Wow. Was that really the question? I was asking your age, Vince, okay?
By the way,
how did it go with Barbara? Baba.
Wawa.
Wawa. Was she nice to you?
Now, I have a Barbara Walters.
Was she in the sports book betting?
Wait a second, Bob. I have a Barbara Walters Vegas story.
Okay.
When I was hosting Street Smarts, we had NatB, which is the big convention here, big television convention, right?
Yeah, NAPTA.
NatP.
NatP, right.
NatP. So
I went to a couple of those.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Right. There you go. So I met Fred Dreyer, who was Hunter, and I was very excited about that. And there's Barbara Walters. Now, we were trying to do a little street piece that we would show in our booth and stuff. And there's Barbara Walters walking by with her entourage. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm going to see. They're like, go see if you can get Barbara Walters. I was fearless, Bob.
Yeah.
So I walk up, I go, excuse me, Miss Walters, I host a show called Street. She goes, good for you, and just kept walking. That was it.
Wow.
It kind of blew me off.
Did you put that in the bio? Under testimonials?
Yep.
Good for you.
Barbara Walters says, good for you.
That's it. That's all you needed out of that.
Needed.
Do you understand that? But you got to be, you. If you don't ask, you don't know.
Yeah.
Right? and now you have a negative feeling about poor Barbara.
No, I loved it. She was a very lovely woman. She was very beautiful in person. It was nice to meet her.
It's not. It's interesting to meet celebrities, you know. But, you know, they're just people. They're just people, Frank.
All right, Bob.
Unlike you, I don't know if anyone can live up to your reputation.
Bob, here we go. Here are the national days. One of these is fake. If you can pick out the fake one, you win a cookie.
Okay, I've won the coin toss. Let's go with this.
You won the coin toss. Everyone else participates trying to pick out the fake one. Here we go. December 19th, it's National Oatmeal Muffin Day, National Emo Day. Do you know what emo is?
Emo is Phillips. He's a very funny comedian.
I worked with Emo Phillips at the Columbus Funny Bone. With
Emo
Judy Tenuta.
from Sesame Street?
No, Emo Phillips, the comedian.
No.
Oh, Emo Phillips. Oh, no, National Emo Day is like, you know, the kids that wear all the black and like, yeah, man, the world sucks.
Yeah.
National Small Town Mayor Day. Do you have any small town mayor day stories?
I have a lot of them. I was in Loves Park, Illinois. The mayor was there. And the mayors love me, by the way. I've got like 7 keys to cities across the country.
Get out.
Yeah, and proclamations and everything. But he was there, and I said, Mayor, what's your name? He says, Mayor Jury. I said, wow, when you have sex with your wife, does she call it jury duty? And she said, yeah. He said, yeah, because she's always trying to get out of it.
And then he took the key back.
No, I didn't. I haven't got a key from there yet.
What's the biggest city you have a key to?
The big Des Moines, Iowa. Would that be a big city?
I love Des Moines. Actually, right before COVID, I was headlining the old Funny Bone there.
Yeah.
And the middle was talking about COVID, and I was like, it's nothing. And then the world shut down a few weeks later. Little did I know the highlight of my 2020 would be Des Moines, Iowa.
Well, it's a lovely place.
It is. We had a
and
good
they
time.
actually made it Bob Zany afternoon from 1 to 5. I said I want to sleep in.
Zany afternoon. We had a lovely time there. All right, so here we go. National Oatmeal Muffin Day, National Emo Day, National Small Town Mayor Day, National Hard Candy Day. Look for an Evergreen Day, National Re-Gifting Day, National Heroes and Heroines Day. Which one is the fake one? If you want to think about it, I can show you the list while we check behind the bar. Jerry says small town mayor is not a thing. Sean says re-gifting is not a thing. Vince goes with hard candy. And what say you?
Lame.
What?
Oatmeal muffin day.
Okay, Bob, which one do you think is fake, sir?
Which is fake?
Which one's fake? I made it up.
Emo Day.
Emo Day. Ladies and gentlemen, someone got it right. And today it is Jerry. I made up Small Town Mayor Day. That sounded like a good fake one. I fooled everybody but Jerry.
Well, and led into a gag I could do on the air. So
did.
it all worked out.
See how that all worked out?
It all worked out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's also celebrity birthdays. Jake Gyllenhaal turns 44. Courtney's one of her favorite actors. He's 44 years old, Jake Gyllenhaal. Very
It
talented.
happens.
Yeah.
It goes by fast. You know, if you ask Vince his age, he'll say, I met her.
Okay, let's drop names. Watch your toes. I was sitting in the Warner Brothers box for a Laker game.
Yeah.
And there was a kid there, a guy there. I was talking to him, and he was talking about how he just did a new movie called Bubble Boy or something like that.
Ah.
And it wasn't until years later that I realized the guy I was talking to was Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, really?
He was in a movie called Bubble Boy. It was
I
like
thought
his
you were going to
first
say
movie.
John Travolta because he
No.
did the original, you know.
Oh, yeah, Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
Well, it's still a bubble.
Right. That was.
I don't want to be the bad guy
And
here.
Bob, let's date ourselves. That was a TV movie, made for TV movie. Remember those? Brian
well,
song?
I met Clint Eastwood at Warner Brothers or wherever his studio, his bungalow was.
Sounds like Warner Brothers.
I picked up the dailies for one of his films. It was about the Russian jet in 1983.
Firefox.
Yeah, 1983, 84. And Clint Eastwood comes out of the thing. He says, "Do you know where you're going?" And I said, "Yes." Because I had the movie. I mean, that was probably $100,000 right
you
there.
had a print of the movie.
You know what? Anyway, that's
was that your Clint? That's the best Clint Eastwood you could do?
Well, I'm actually not an impressionist. I'm actually funny.
Whoa, zinged, impressionists. Anyway, also Alyssa Milano's 52, and if you grew up around my era, Alyssa Milano she was one of the hot
She
girls.
was it. I mean, who's the boss, really?
Hey.
Think about that. Huh?
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We put him in the AI machine up in Utah. Caden puts it together. Here's the comment. Oh, there's Alyssa Milano. She's the mayor of a small town. I guess I didn't tell him that was the fake one. There's Jake Gyllenhaal. What is he eating? He's being emo. He's being emo with the black eyeliner.
Oh, is that emo? That's what it's called?
That's emo. Yeah, when you're all like...
Chloe on 24 became emo on the last season of season 8. I've been watching that.
Marilyn Reichkup.
Yeah, I worked with her at the Laugh Factory.
I've worked with her several. We did a short together where I played a priest and she was a nun.
Oh, I thought you just played the short.
No. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for picks at 12:36, right on the dot, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Oh, my God. We got to bring Joe D'Amico in soon, don't we?
Punchline picks.
You want to go to a 30?
At 12:36.
By the way, I love the graphics, Ann. These are really nice, you know,
nice.
and less frank, more ratings.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have our picks at 12:36. Should we bring Joe in? Or no, we're going to a break. We're going to toss to a break, ladies and gentlemen, for 30 seconds. We'll be back at 12:37 with picks. You just lost the lens out of your reader there. Are you okay? The lens, he put on his glasses and the lens fell right out. I know that.
It happens.
I know the pain of that.
I'm going to have to go back to the $1.25 tree and get another one.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring in our regular Thursday man. And if you didn't know this, he is on fire in football. He is on a 22-6-1 run. He's also a member of Moominshans, I believe. Do you remember Moominshans?
No, I took the pill.
He looks great. He looks like I have to know what this chapeau he's wearing. No, we don't. Oh, we don't need it. Hold on one second. We're going to wait for Joe. We have picks. You have a pick that Aaron sent you. Is that correct?
Joe looks fantastic.
He looks
My
amazing,
God.
Joe. Hold on one second.
Thank God for the French resistance, huh? You're going to kick those Nazis out of there, aren't you, Joe?
Looks like Curtis Sleeway.
Oh, my God. I have some texts here from Joe because I invited him out to a show, and he wasn't able to make it. So I would love to read it real
while
quick.
We're working on some technical things. Go for it.
Dear Bob, I really would like to be out to the show, but a lot of things have been going on in my life. You don't want to hear about it, but let me go ahead and tell you. I'm going to leave it at that, Joe, because the rest of it's none of their business.
Now you do.
Here's my pick. I got Potato Bowl.
Who?
The Potato Bowl.
The Potato Bowl.
Very excited. It's in Boise, Idaho.
Well, of course it is, right?
It's Fresno State, the Bulldogs, against the Northern Illinois Huskies. Now, I have a connection to both cities.
I've been to Northern Illinois. I played a show there.
You did?
At DeKalb.
At DeKalb, right. I call into Rockford, Illinois every week doing a
My mom
Zany
was
report.
raised in Rockford. I've been
I
to
thought
Rockford.
so. Every time I've been there, I go, is that a Nicotero? Anyway.
He was a key singer back then. But
And then Fresno, I call into there.
Yeah, I hear
Are
Joe
you back,
now.
Joe?
Yeah, we're going to
Joe. Okay, I'm going to do my little thing.
All right, Bob's going to give us...
panel with you because no matter how I dressed, I always look better than you. Thanks for getting so dressed up today.
Oh, wow.
You're very welcome, Joe. And now once you cut that brie cheese, and Northern Illinois would be in Rockford, I would think.
It's in DeKalb.
Yeah, okay. Well, but it's close. It's Northern Illinois.
Somewhere in Illinois.
It brushes up.
We'll ask Keith, our Illinois expert.
I'm going to go with Fresno State. They're the underdog.
Okay.
And I think they're going to do it this time.
Okay.
You know, I always say, I know no means no, but what does Fresno mean?
All right, so that's your pick tonight. And, of course, Thursday Night Football is tonight. And I have a pick. I usually do prop bets. I like to bet on one guy.
I know. I love the prop bet concept. Go ahead.
I do this one every week. It's called the Chucker. I've affectionately nicknamed it that. I'm taking both quarterbacks, Justin Herbert and Bo Nix, longest completion. Nix is only 33.5 yards. Herbert is 32.5. I gave out UNLV. Again, another football win. I am not Joe D'Amico, but I'm on a run. I'm going to go back and look and see what my last maybe 15 picks are. But anyway, I'll be betting on both of those. Now let's bring in the expert. As I said, he is on quite a tear. Every Thursday, he looks like $1 million. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe D'Amico is on the program. Yo, Joe, what's happening, buddy?
Thank you for having me, Frank. I'm a little incognito today. Explains my outfit. I think I'm putting you in somewhat of a legal bind right now because I'm doing the show and I'm making you an accomplice. I'm wanted. I'm a wanted man. I'm wanted here in Southern Nevada for killing bookmakers. Hottest capper on the planet, documented. 22-6-1 football run. 9-1 on games of the month and games of the year. Killing it. I'm telling you right now, FBI might come right through the door because they want me for murder. It doesn't matter. By the way, I love the story about Emo Phillips. There's a famous comedian, not as famous as you two, but a famous comedian in town, and his show, he had a very bad crowd one night. Very bad crowd. It was a family reunion. My wife remembers it was a family reunion, and they were from like another country.
Okay.
And they just weren't getting the comedy. So he started messing with me to try to pick the show up. And he started messing with me. And I said, well, thanks, so-and-so, because you're my 73rd favorite comedian. And he goes, well, who's 72nd? I said, Emo Phillips. And he just dropped the mic. And I know who Emo Phillips was. I saw him in 84, 85 at the South Street Seaport. They had a comedy show at the South Street Seaport in Lower Manhattan. I saw him, and we had but he freaks you out, Emo. He still looks the same. He's a little freaky. I got to be honest with you. And by the way,
eccentric.
Yeah, he is.
Eccentric, yeah. By the way, the Jake Gyllenhaal picture, does he not look like my buddy Sam, who's AKA Tape Face, in that photograph?
He does look like Tape
Face. Yeah, I have not seen that guy's show. I remember he was on AGT. I remember.
Phenomenal.
I hear it's tremendous.
But you know what I got out of this story, Joe, and Frank, you probably caught it too. He was able to go to other comedian shows.
Yeah, what? He didn't.
Interesting.
So
not mine though, Joe.
You didn't
Very
make it
busy.
out to see
And
Bob.
you're a wanted man, and I see the part of the chain where they cuffed you on one of your arm. There you go. What the hell is that, Joe? Come on. You're just waiting to be mugged.
Well, you know what? I entice muggers, but no, I have a Napoleon complex, Bob. When I had hair, I could get away with telling people I was 5'10". I can't even get away with 5'8" now. So I have a Napoleon complex. I try, I wear the big jewelry. I wear jewelry that will make Liberace blush. What can I say? That is a 4.5 pound gold watch, 4.5 pounds. But when I wear it, I don't have to go to the gym.
You don't, and I don't think anybody at the gym wants you there, especially Jim.
Good, yeah.
Jim doesn't want you there.
Bob,
by the way, if you want to be taller, get a wig. Okay, that's all. 80s hairband. There you go.
Well,
hair
Vince
rock.
Neil.
You gotta
They call
love
it
Vince
hair
Neil.
rock.
He probably knows Vince Neil. Joe, you probably know Vince Neil.
I go back with Vince over 35 years. I know him very, very well. His ex-wife is actually a dear friend of ours. We're big animal advocates. We work on some animal projects together, Leah. But Vince and I go back. I could tell you stories. I was backstage at a Motley Crue show once at the Old Performing Arts Theater.
Okay.
That's at the Old Performing Arts Theater, which is a great place to see a show. And they were skitching out because they were off the beaten path for a little bit. And Tommy was afraid to come out. And like, Tommy, what's going on? It's like, I don't think anybody's going to show up. I really don't think anybody's going to show up. I'm afraid when the curtain opens. I said, Tommy, place is packed, man. Relax.
Wow.
The curtain opened up. Show was great as usual. But Vince and I are friends. We've been friends for over 30 years.
There you go.
I could tell you a couple of Vince Neil stories that would probably get me divorced.
We'll save those.
But no, Vince is great. And, I know he's touring on his own as well again with the crew. And we never miss him. We've seen them probably 30 times, my wife and I.
Wow.
Just a quick fun fact. The reason why Vince Neil is in Motley Crue, his dad, Vince Neil Sr., actually got him the job.
You're doing a little Vinny call back there. I see what you did there. By the way, Mini Dar says he was at the new Rockford, Illinois Hard Rock Casino last night. Rivers is still his favorite Illinois casino, but Rockford has a Hard Rock casino now.
Yeah, I actually perform at venues there, not at the casino, which makes perfect sense. I don't know why I can't. I got to get Joe as my agent. I mean, no one's going to turn this man down if he calls up.
It's true.
Because he talks so much. It's yes, Joe, hang up. You got the deal.
Well, let's let Joe talk right now because he's got some picks. So, Joe, why don't you start us off with what you got?
Well, I'd like to start. There's a few things I want to talk about. First, let's go with the Friday game I really like. It is Friday, I believe. Friday game. I want to talk about, it is a Friday game.
Indiana,
personally, I was a big believer. I'm talking about Indiana Notre Dame, folks. I was a big believer this regular season in the Hoosiers. I had them quite a few times and always did well with them. We did well because why? They were under the radar. Well, my friends, they're not under the radar anymore. Their non-conference schedule was a joke, to say the least. And the game with Michigan a little more than a month ago was a lot closer than the 20-15 final score, in which they were better than a 2-touchdown favorite. They did get shellacked by Ohio State in their following game after a bye week, 38-15. Their last outing, which was impressive, as they shredded Purdue 66-0, and will definitely play a part in why the general public is behind them this week. But that is a huge common mistake made by bettors, guys, judging a team in their current week from their previous week's performance. Now, reports are weather will play a part in this contest, but, and I like a very big but, guys, don't tell my wife, being that both teams are from Indiana and are playing in Indiana, I doubt very much it's going to affect them. What I do think a big factor here that gives the Fighting Irish a major advantage is that this will be a very physical matchup, and the Irish are certainly better in the trenches. And me, I'm a big believer. It's where I put a lot of stress when I'm handicapping games, guys, is which teams are better in the trenches. I also feel Notre Dame team and their coaching staff is a little more experienced in big game situations. Now, Frank, Bob, I may be Sicilian, but this Friday, I'm all Irish, guys. Take the Fighting Irish. The line went from 7.5 down to 7 today. I bet it at 7.5. I bet it down, but you don't have to bet it down anymore. They'll cover the 7. They'll win by double digits.
He likes Notre Dame, Bob. What about you?
Well, I've actually been to Notre Dame. My T-shirt maker is in South Bend, Mishawaka. And they were a client. They took me there when they had their first night game. Do you remember this, Joe?
Night game?
They didn't. There was all day games. They finally had a night game on Saturday night, and I was performing at a club on a door deal, and I made nothing. By the way, if I want to deal with the Fighting Irish, I'll just go home to Aaron. No, I'm going to go with them. I think so. And I've also performed in Indiana, at the university there. So I have a connection to both. Very Indianish.
I did a bunch of small colleges. I would say Butler. Is Butler? Butler's in Indiana. I think I did a show.
I think Butler was actually part of Bruce Wayne and
Alfred.
Yeah, Dick
Hey,
Grayson.
Joe, I have a question for Dick Grayson. Joe D, looking thin and svelte. Joey B says, Joe D, do you remember Joey Harrison's surf club down the shore?
Down the Jersey Shore.
I don't
He's
know.
obviously.
Yeah.
I don't remember the surf club, but I spent a lot of time down the shore. What city was it in? Have him type what city was
Joey
it in.
B, let us know what city
Because
it's
I
in.
did spend, listen, a rite of passage when you live in Little Italy is selling fireworks, which, by the way, we sold right outside the 5th Precinct. Took my first arrest when I was 11.
11?
That's a true story. Yes, took my first arrest at 11. 29 arrests. No, all gross misdemeanors, never a felony. I got friends who go, I don't mind doing 3 years. Oh, can't believe you spent $10,000 on the lawyer. I didn't do any time, real time. 29 gross misdemeanors, no felonies. My first one's at 11.
Can I say something, Joe? Joe, I got to say something. They were just regular misdemeanors, and they looked at you and said, "This is gross."
Hello, kettle. It's the pot. Bob Zany, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen. No, actually, no. I had 29 gross misdemeanors, but that's okay. You know, that's how I moved to Vegas. But a rite of passage is selling fireworks in Little Italy. And after fireworks season, on July 6th, you'd get your bonus, and then you'd rent a house down the Jersey Shore.
Oh,
so I rented in Bradley, Belmar, Point Pleasant, and Seaside. Seaside was pretty wild. Yup. There was a good time back then in the 80s. God. You know, we used to wear fluorescent pants and shirts, and I had hair up to here when I was 5'10", but it was a lot of fun, Frank.
All right, Joe. He's saying it was in Lavalette.
You know, I didn't spend a lot of time in Lavalette, and I don't remember the surf club, but I'm sure it was a happening place. You know, those are those places where you didn't need like a photo ID to get in. They just took a look at you and just made sure you weren't totally smashed. All right, come on in. They didn't mind. You could be like 9. You know, when you're Italian, you start going through puberty when you're 8.5 years old. So we had the mustaches when we were 12, 13, going to the Jersey Shore bars. We had a lot of fun.
Joe, I got to ask you now: did you sell fireworks in the club while you were there too?
But absolutely right out, and you were playing next door. That's why no one showed up.
I performed at Rascals in Ocean Township. Is that near there?
Yes, that's not far. The Jersey Shore, every couple of miles, there's another town, but it's great. The Jersey Shore is great. A couple of the cities, because of the waste in the ocean, you'd come out of the water, there'd be a syringe or two stuck in your leg, but it wasn't a bad place to be. Bradley, Point Pleasant, Avon, Deal was great. That's where all the money people went. But we went to Point Pleasant. We went to Seaside Heights. It was like spring break down in Florida the entire summer.
All right, moving on from New Jersey, and who doesn't want to move on from New Jersey? Am I right, Bob?
I think that's rude. He's from there. He's got 29 gross misdemeanors. I have one ugly felony on my record.
All right, Joe, what do you got for us next?
I got another game on Friday that I really do like. This is the Cure Bowl. Reports this week, sports fans, for the Cure Bowl are that both Ohio and Jacksonville State's head coaches have departed for other jobs. Having said that, these are two very good teams, despite not playing in Power 5 conferences. Both are led by very solid quarterbacks. Both possess some of the most feared rushing offenses in the nation. Gamecocks ranked 2nd in college football in rushing. Bobcats ranked 13th. Yes, it is true. Jacksonville State commits less turnovers offensively, but I feel the main difference in this game, guys, is going to be the superior defensive play of Ohio. They allow just 17.5 points per game and rank 5th nationally against the rush. Their opponent allows 8.3 points per game more and ranks 95th against the run. I believe that's where the difference in this matchup will be. Oh, by the way, they also come in here hotter, winning and covering 6 in a row. So take the Bobcats to maul the Gamecocks. This game is a winner.
All right, I like it.
Here's the problem with the Cure Bowl, and a lot of people know you have to have your COVID booster shot to get into Cure Bowl.
Or you have to look like Robert Smith.
Wow.
Of the Cure.
There you go.
They're touring again.
Yeah.
Oh, they are
touring again.
Tell us about Tell us about the time you saw them in Phoenix.
Tell us about the time you played next door to them and nobody showed up, Bob.
Wow.
Oh, there you go. Good one, Joe.
Joe, I really think you're so knowledgeable. I mean, it's like I really want to have a problem with gambling after I talk to you.
All right, so here we go. Oh, Ev Natola, hello. 29 gross misdemeanors. I bet the over. All right, Joe, you have one more.
I like Ed, by the way.
I don't know who this person is.
Use it.
Ev Natola. Yeah, use it.
Next time, you say, I'll bet the over. It's yours now.
I'll bet the over.
She'll want money.
I think there was 29 at last count, but that's fine.
Right,
I think Joe, that's the most beautiful Hanukkah tree I've ever seen. Go ahead.
By the way, someone in the comments, I don't know if it was Joey B, said, it was Joey B. Joe D with the Goodfellas Christmas tree, outstanding. That is.
It's very nice.
Very much.
Look at that. And
Thank you very much. We're very Christmassy here in the house, and we got 4 trees running around someplace. But this is I do have a little place in the corner for Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. We respect all beliefs and religions and whatnot. But no, we're Christmas in the house, Bob.
And I love the tree because the dangling balls are just fabulous.
I put those up there just for you, Bob.
Yeah, because you know how I like when my balls dangle.
When your balls dangle.
Ladies and gentlemen,
was that it? We done with it?
No, we're gonna. He's probably got one more. Do you have
one more, right?
Two more.
I got a free play for Friday, but I got a big play for Saturday. If that's all right.
Bring it on. Yeah, please.
All right. I want to talk about the Gasparilla Bowl. No, Bob, not the Sarsaparilla Bowl. We're not talking about food. Kudos to Tulane and their coaching staff. The Green Wave had a wonderful season. They finished up 9-4, both straight up and against the spread. But unfortunately, 2 of their losses and no covers have come in their last 2 outings as they were shellacked by Memphis Tigers 34-24 as a double-digit favorite, and they got thumped by the Army Black Knights 35-14 as a 5-point favorite. To make matters worse, their starting quarterback, Darian Mensah, that's where you go when you're smart. Darian Mensah entered the transfer portal and is not expected to play here. Meanwhile, the Florida Gators, who many thought had one of the toughest schedules in college football this season, started their campaign off at 4-5. Then mid-November arrived, and they took down 3 notables to close out their season: LSU, Mississippi, and Florida State. They also covered all 3 of those games. As a matter of fact, 8-1 ATS their last 9 contests. They have made us sports bettors some big money. Granted, Tulane lost their starting quarterback. They are known for a rushing offense, so I do expect them to run the ball and then move the chains on the ground. Something I did notice, guys, when looking at their schedule, when it came down to crunch time, though, they fell way. Let me try that. Those Hooked on Phonics books, they fell way short. Earlier this week, this line was 14, then fell to 12 before this morning, and then as of the show, dropped to 10.5. Obviously, money is coming on the Green Wave, and you know how I love to fade the public. I do feel the Gators are coming in here with more momentum and with a lot more to prove. Please remember that on a regular basis, they do face better opposition. Take Florida, small lean here. It's not a major play for me. I think they win the game. I think with the line dropping, I think it's more enticing. I still think it'll be around the number. I don't see a big blowout, but I really think they win this game and cover. That's a lean, not a big play. I do have a huge play on Saturday for everybody.
It's a lean.
It's a lean towards it.
That's a lean toward.
Fell way short. Short. Thank you.
You're welcome, Bob.
But it's very hard to say.
Fell way short.
It's tough. It's a tough one, Bob.
It sounds like the chef at the Chinese restaurant I went to.
That, I believe it's also a city down in...
Well, we're losing it.
All right,
you got one more.
We got one more pick from Joey B. All right,
come on, Joey B.
Hit it with us.
Big game situation. Let's start with the elephant in the room, guys. No, my ex has not walked into this room. I'm siding with the underdog, the Tennessee Volunteers, because of not siding with them. There we go again. Bob threw me off. I'm not siding with the underdog Tennessee Volunteers because of Ohio State's performance in their last outing, a lackluster 13-10 loss at the hands of the less than stellar Michigan Wolverines. I also want you guys to know, throw out all the BS you're hearing about the weather in Ohio Stadium. Yes, it's going to be in the mid-20s at game time. And normally when you get an SEC team traveling to a cold weather area to play, it can play a part in the game. However, the Volunteers have been practicing in the mid to high 30s in Tennessee before traveling the short 5-hour drive from Knoxville to Columbus, guys. Let's throw away the bones. Just talk to meat sports fans. The Buckeyes' offensive line is a mess, and they will be without several key cogs in their offensive line wheel, and I think that's going to be a big part in this matchup. Overall, yes, you can't ignore OSU. Their defense, the best in the nation. They allow just 10.9 a game, but they don't force a lot of turnovers, and I feel the offense will have a hard time in the air as well as on the ground in this matchup. It will take a while for them to get into a groove. The Volunteer stop unit, they're ranked 4th in total yards, 17th against the pass, 8th against the rush, 4th in points allowed. Let's circle back to the offensive line issue of Ohio State, guys. This is a big factor for me in this game. It really is. The Tennessee defense has accounted for 29 sacks this season, and with the Ohio State offensive line really depleted, guys. I just think giving this team more than a touchdown is a big mistake. I feel it's going to be a lot closer than the point spread. I'm taking the Volunteers to cover here. I might even sprinkle a little something on the money line, plus the 7.5, just for poops and giggles. But I really do feel this is going to be a lot closer than the point spread. And that 7.5, they're just begging you to take it. The odds makers, they put these lines out here sometimes to trap you, so you overthink it. Don't overthink it, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. Volunteers keep this very close. Might even win the game, but they're going to keep it close.
Okay, yeah, I've liked Tennessee all year. Bob?
I'm just going to say I saw the Tennessee Volunteers in preseason when they went up against the Washington Interns. And it was a really great game.
Who won that game?
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Because it was just, everyone got a trophy. That game really was just for poops and giggles. Thank you, Joe. I have a new slogan in my life. Poops and giggles. Thank you.
It's your next CD.
Poops and giggles.
Bob Zany.
Baby.
Joe, Joe, I understand you have a betting app story.
You know what? I just been, I'm not a big betting app guy. I have nothing against them.
Right.
Just that, sometimes I don't take my bets because the amount of bet that I get, that circle goes around, it gets very frustrating. So I like to bet in person, get a ticket in my hand. 2.5 weeks ago, I had a betting app that had, and don't quote me an exact amount, it was a little over 40 dimes, 41, 42, 43,000. As of last night, it has two. Dion, where's the numbers on that game? On that, it has something like $580 some odd $1,000 in it because of the run I'm on. It has been here. Hold on, $98,280. It had 43,000 on it. So I am really crushing the books. I'm not a big, but here's the thing, Frank. I believe in what I do, and I believe in me. Excuse me. Bob, you got me all messed up again.
I apologize. Are you okay?
Honestly, Frank, I am very superstitious. I'm not a black cat or a broken mirror or under a ladder type, but because I've been winning with this app, almost every bet I've put in, and I crushed them for over $500,000 in 2.5 weeks. Jesus. I just keep betting with this damn app, and it's driving me crazy. I'm sitting there on the app, and listen, I'm the worst typist and texter in the world. I'll be honest with you.
Wow.
I am the worst. I don't know how these kids do it. It is ridiculous. But I'm sitting there, I'm like in special ed, pressing the buttons and making sure I don't make mistakes and bet the wrong side or something because I'm betting big numbers on these games.
Is that was that another childhood story about you in special ed?
Absolutely. I'm giving you good material, Bob. This way, next time you have a show here in town, I could come see you. I'm lining you up for a good show.
Hold on. Let's segue to that. Bob, what are we have some of your upcoming shows, do we not? Here we go. Bob, why don't you go ahead and tell us about this?
Carson City, Nevada. Okay. I'm going to be hosting. We're actually filming this. It's Bob Zany's Big Money Comedy Game Show, and we're going to give up to $10,000 away, which after the money on his app, kind of sad. And then also, I'm going to be in Virginia City on New Year's Eve and New Year's Eve, 30th and 31st at the Delta Saloon in Virginia City. This place has been around since 1883.
They carry guns and stuff and like spurs.
I hope. Yeah. I mean, I've seen my show.
Outstanding. Well, Bob, it's always a pleasure having you here.
Yeah, and I really had a great time. Thank you very much. And
you're the best.
Joe is amazing. I mean, really amazing. I'm so sorry about that cough. It doesn't sound good.
Yeah,
I want to point out that we have these cards right here. We have your parlay cards and all sorts of teaser cards and reverse cards. There's no parlay card on here. I apologize. Reverse teaser, super win teaser. Sean, how many of these have you filled out? Zero. He's going to get to it, though. Anyway, come down to the South Point. All the good football action. Tomorrow night, you can come down and watch the Indiana-Notre Dame game. Also, Aaron's telling me you have a John Travolta story. Is that true?
Well, supposedly he was a huge fan of mine.
Is that right?
Yeah, but she actually has the better John Travolta story. We met at the American Comedy Awards.
Oh, okay.
But his dear friend told me he always goes, "Bae," and this was years and years ago. He saw the Rodney Dangerfield HBO special I did.
Look at that.
Yeah, I was before that I was selling fireworks, and it didn't work out. I've been to Little Italy. It's just beautiful there. I went to my friend Hugh Fink's wedding.
Oh, Steve
Shrippa showed up because when he got married, he was up for the part on The Sopranos. Yeah. Asked me to act a coach with him, all that. And I said, "Look, Steve, if you don't get the part, there's something wrong with this business."
Yeah, exactly.
And the rest is history.
Well, he got the part. I didn't know you knew Hugh Fink. He was a friend of mine too.
He was in our wedding.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, well, no, because, Frank, you didn't get me on Street Smarts. You had me tape and nothing.
You were too smart. You got them all right. Joe D'Amico, where can we find you, Joe, on Twitter?
Twitter at Joe D'Amico wins, and then maybe even at Bob's show up in Carson City. We could have some fun.
Oh, yeah, if you want to come out, we're doing 2 shows. I can get you in the 3rd one.
That would be great. Thank you very much. I'll give you a lot of good material, Bob. I'll show up next time you come to town. Last time I just could not.
I understand. And again, the texts are too long. Okay, just say no. Say, Bob, I'm enough with you already.
And by the way, Aaron O'Connor says the story was that Travolta and his wife Kelly Preston watched Bob's special while she was in labor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't remember that part of the story. You know, I did an evening at the Improv with Dave Chappelle. Guess who was in the audience? OJ and Nicole.
Oh, geez.
Yes, and they cut to them. Yes. No, I didn't mean it that way. Oh, my God.
I was like, Bob.
Way to go, Bob.
I was
Wow.
like, Bob, you didn't mean it.
I didn't mean it that way, but God, now I got a punchline for that story.
There you go. Oh, my God. Let's see.
And they cut to them.
That was, I thought, I was like that was, yeah. Okay, Joe, thank you so much, brother. We will talk soon. Bob Zany, you got shows. We like to end the show with Kenny White, Ken White, right? Ken White. He should be.
It's Kenny. I think Kenny's fine.
Ken
He's
White's
a nice man.
Ken White's dog of the day, the New Orleans Bowl. He likes Sam Houston State. Well, here's the graphic. Kenny White's dog of the day. He likes Sam Houston State plus the 4 versus Georgia Southern. Have you ever played Sam Houston State or Georgia Southern?
I've performed in Georgia and Texas, and I've performed in Houston, but I don't think I've actually, no.
Okay.
I'm going to answer with a no.
Okay, he's going to answer with a no. And here is our dog of the day. Joe's a big dog fan as well. Let's see. This is great. Watch this guy. Watch this. That is funny. I think I bought fireworks from that guy once.
Yeah, I think so. But you know what's amazing about that? He did a second video, and the guy doesn't have a nose.
We love our dogs of the day. We love this show, ladies and gentlemen. Joe, thank you again. Bob Zany, as always. You can follow Bob at
Bob Zany on Twitter and Zany Baby on Twitter and TikTok.
Zany Baby on
Zany
TikTok.
Bob on Instagram, and also the official Bob Zany channel, which I think everyone saw this, right?
Well, they did. They were
Did we
watching.
get any comments on that, Keith? Or you keeping track? Yes. Yeah, you do a great job.
He does. By the way, I want to point out once again that everybody in our chat room every day brings it. All our regulars, thank you so much. If you're watching and you're not a member, please hit subscribe. And after 5 minutes, you can get in the chat room. Of course, now we're off the air, so we're going to wrap it up. But you can come back tomorrow when we have Matt and Everett. Next week, we have Alex White on Monday, and then Tuesday, Christmas Eve, we have our Best of 2024 show. We've been working on it, putting it together. Drew Dog cutting some montages. We shot some stuff around.
I just got back from the orthodontist.
Okay. Oh, gosh. Doing headgear jokes. I think that's it, and I think I'm going to wrap it up. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching, Joe. See you soon. I'm Frank Nicotero.
Bye, Joe.
Punchlines, live in Nevada every show.
Bye.